All right, back with the Ferven Toys JF Scorpion Submachine Gun Gel Ball Blaster. Going to talk a little bit about the gel beads here and then how you get this ready to go to shoot, okay? So much like all of them, they say, you should soak your gel beads for at least 4 hours, okay? So they get to that 8 millimeters. They need to be at least 7, but preferably 8 millimeters. Don't worry about using too much water. You can always drain off excess water. So you'd be amazed how fast they grow from these tiny, or how big they grow from such tiny little beads into such large gel balls. So just start off with a very small amount of beads and more water than you think you'd need, and just make sure that they're full. If you go to check on your gel beads and there's no extra water in there, then they're probably not big enough. So something to consider. As with all gel blasters, you should use these pretty much immediately. Once they're ready to go, you should be using them, that day, right? If you have some ready that are, big, and then you let them sit for several days or whatever, even if they're in an airtight container like this, you probably want to add a little water to them, let them soak for a little bit beforehand, okay? That'll just help them not get stuck together. Ferven recommends you just use the beads that come with it with this gun. If you're going to use other gel beads, just do not mix different brands, as they can stick together, all right? So they will work with other ones. I have used them, but they recommend do not mix them. So you can just take your hand and put them in here, or if you have a little funnel, I've found that's easier, of course. So you can just load it up with the funnel, and that also kind of gets rid of excess water as you're doing this, right? So if you poured it directly in, then you get a lot of excess water in there. Of course, the way this drum magazine works, it keeps that water separate, or it allows it to be separate, but this works nice too. So got that all, loaded up pretty good. You notice just the top half of the drum is what loads up there. All right, and then you just click it in and you're ready to go. So when you're shooting, I've noticed when you use the gel beads right away, especially when you use them with warm water, I don't think you're going to have any jamming issues. Of course, if you mix beads, the beads aren't to the right size, you may get some jamming issues. And what can happen there is just gel beads have broken up in there. Just give it a little bit of a shake. That should help. Sometimes you may need to unclick the magazine. You may need to take the gel beads out of there. But that happens with all these gel blasters. You need to be using the beads when they're at the correct size, and you should be using them right away once you've grown them to that size, okay? But if you have any issues, give it a good shake, clear it out. And you never want to leave any beads in the magazine when you're done playing with it. So just make sure you either use all of them up, shoot all of them, or empty it out when you're done. And of course, if you're going to save them for later, just make sure you add some water to that later when it's time to use them. All right, so that gives you a great idea how to use the gel beads properly with the Ferven Toys JF Scorpion Submachine Gun Gel Ball Blaster. We'll do some shooting with it so you can see.